Hello viewers and welcome back to an all new episode. In this episode we start out with a pitching opportunity against the Pirates, runner on first with no outs in the top of the sixth. So if you remember last episode I went on a mini rant about our energy and how our manager is using us a little too often, and that will come into play again in this episode. So our first batter, first baseman, is able to tag the runner going up the first baseline. The runner on first does advance, but right here, get a ground ball to short, forcing the runner to go back to second, and we get the out at first. So far so good. Gus, he's doing his job, which is all that we really can expect right now. And then we get a pop-up to end the inning. And there's the catch. So another inning good, another outing good, right? Because we only get one inning to pitch. But as you will see, we get to pitch a second inning, which is definitely a shocker. First time we've been given the opportunity to do that, and hopefully we can make the best of it. Our energy is not the best, and we do get pitched a lot, so we really need to be careful because we want to throw as little pitches as possible. We get the strikeout now, but it was a 3-pitch strikeout, so far so good. And this ball makes me a little nervous. Anytime a ball goes that far out in the outfield, it's a little hard to tell with this game if it is going to be a home run. And then we get a nice strikeout to end the inning as soon as the catcher does throw at the first. And so 2-inning outing, really quite good, quite a surprise. And Gus succeeds, but we get a chance to pitch a third inning. So our energy is halfway down, but we haven't thrown too many pitches, and right there, third baseman makes a really good play, so really making it a lot easier for us. Another good play by the third baseman, and 2 outs. And here on an 0-2 count, we get the strikeout looking. That sweeping curve barely had any movement on it, which is because of our low energy. The Mets do end up winning the game. They win in extra innings though, so we don't get the win. But we get 119 points out of it, so definitely some much needed training points, because you can always use training points. But look at this. We get pitched right after that game that we just pitched 3 innings in. Maybe it's excusable because it was an extra inning game, so I'm sure the Mets did use a lot of their bullpen, but we pitched much more pitches than we usually do, and here, that is just poor game mechanics, I think, because there was really nothing I could do about it while playing the game. I tried my best to try and grab the ball, and Gus, he just didn't move. So after giving up 1 hit, we give up a second one. Runners on first and second, and here, this is just a travesty. We throw a wild pitch, entirely my fault, did not hit the button, and as a result, runners on second and third with no outs. Here we get the much needed strikeout on a sweeping curve, so good thing that we were able to get that. And then here, first baseman decides to throw home, and the catcher holds on and makes the tag. So the runner was unable to score, and we have runners on first and third with 2 outs. So all we need is 1 more out in order to get out of this inning. And we get tough ball, but the catcher is able to throw at the first and get the out. So Gus was definitely able to get out of that jam, which was a little more than he's used to, just based on a wild pitch really, which ended up losing us 10 points. And it's okay, because that was really my fault and not necessarily Gus's fault. But here we achieved our advancement goals, so let's see what they say. Of course, not going to be able to make the moves just yet. Same thing that we have seen many times before. And right now, I will show you just where I put the points. I will speed it up though, but basically I put them where I usually say that I always put them, which is into the advancement goals first, and then put them into control, then usually velocity, and then just because Gus does need the break on his pitches just to be able to get the strikeouts to get the points, put a couple into the pitches breaks. I do wind up putting some into the four-seamers break, just because the four-seamers break, even though it doesn't break, it will affect the break of the other pitches. And I do put some into stamina because, as you can tell, Gus is getting pitched a lot, so he needs that stamina. And then we get a day off, but we are pitched the day after that. So our manager is definitely getting as much use out of us as he possibly can. So top of the 8th, the Mets are losing. And here, throw to first and make the play. There are different types of throwing styles in this game, and I did try and play with a outfielder and haven't been that good at throwing the ball to the cutoff man. So anytime Gus throws the ball to first using the setting that I have it on, it's really an accomplishment because I am horrible in the outfield. And so a good outing for Gus, right? Of course not. Our manager decides to pitch us the second inning, top of the 9th. And I think the reason why it's most frustrating for me is just because Gus does not have good stamina, and he doesn't need good stamina as a closer because he would have the stamina that would be necessary to get those closes, but since he is not being used as a closer, he does not have the stamina needed to be able to pitch as frequently as he is being pitched. So with a bullpen arm, normally, yeah, they might be able to go 5 innings in 3 days, but not necessarily Gus. So it makes it a lot harder than it needs to be, just because Gus, sometimes his sweeping curve does not have the movement that it needs, so that eliminates one pitch that you can use. And the cutter, still, it needs a decent amount of movement, or it'll just look like a slower four-seamer and it'll be able to get hit. But even though Gus is getting pitched more often than he probably should, if he continues to keep it up, I'm sure that he will be moved up to the setup role within the season. So thank you for watching, viewers, and have a good day.